The global health situation has really put a damper on international travel, but things are starting to look up with an ever-increasing vaccination drive currently taking place around the world. So with vacationing on a foreign land back on the menu in the coming days, you might want to consider visiting some hidden destinations that the majority of tourists don't know about. But what are these hidden gems, and what will you be able to do there? Well, whether you're in the process of planning a trip or just want to know more about the world that we live in, you've come to the right place, because we're about to explore some of the greatest hidden destinations that you'll actually be able to visit. So strap yourselves in and get ready for a first-class flight, as things are about to get interesting. But before we get into it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the new videos we post. Number 1. Mantua, Italy. Italy is world-renowned for its incredible architecture and art, but there's no doubt that its main attractions are surrounded by droves of tourists. And since it's next to impossible to appreciate the majesty of these attractions whilst listening to the couple next to you fighting over who will be taking the pictures this trip, you're better off heading to the city of Mantua. It is by far one of the greatest hidden gems of Italy, which is located in the Lombardy region of the country. It can be easily accessed through one of the many taxis zipping around Italy, but if you prefer to head there via train, you can always connect from Verona, Venice, and Milan station. The city is filled to the brim with Italian art and architecture and is even home to the largest residential building in Europe, after the Vatican, of course. Mantua is also surrounded by 3 artificial lakes, one of which is coated in lily pads and offers a sunset boat cruise that shouldn't be missed. If you're an architecture nut, head on over to the Ducal Palace, which has around 600 rooms. Although you won't be able to explore all of them, it's no doubt a treat to your senses to see how the Gonzaga rulers used to live back in the day. You'll also love the Tea Palace, which you'll be surprised to hear has absolutely nothing to do with the warm beverage. Here you'll find some grand halls to explore, along with the Teatro Bebbiena, all of which can be toured for less than the price of a cup of coffee, or tea if you will. Lastly, you'll also find a pretty decent spread of Italian cuisine and wines across the broader Lombardia region, which makes Mantua the perfect place from which to head out on a day tour of sorts. Suffice it to say, we're surprised more tourists don't head out to this incredible region, but we sure did love the peace and quiet that came with it. Number 2. Bosnia and Herzegovina. When you think of taking a trip to the far reaches of the globe, Bosnia and Herzegovina almost never comes up. And that's simply because the vast majority of the world doesn't know just how incredible a visit to this hidden gem can be. Considering the amount of urbanization found in the country, it's still considered to be a relatively off-the-beaten-path experience, and it is best experienced on the road. So head on over to the car rental port and get yourself a reliable vehicle from which you can tour the area. The capital city of Mostar is probably the most well-known attraction of the country and has a few visitors from the surrounding areas wandering around and taking advantage of its affordable prices. The city also offers quite the cultural mix, along with some incredible historical significance, especially as far as the First World War is concerned. But it's adventure lovers that will fall head over heels with this hidden gem of a country, as you'll see from your trip there. The rafting around Konjic, for example, is to die for, with the surrounding water being so crystal clear that it almost appears to be photoshopped. This is a common theme for most bodies of water found throughout the region, which are yet to be ruined by the ever-growing population. Next, you'll want to head over to Rama in Skete, where you'll find a monastery that's been set upon a lake, along with the Karvika waterfalls that litter the area surrounding it. For cultural adventures and hiking, you can also take a drive to Lukomir, which just so happens to be the last remaining mountain village in the region. And if you ended up going there in the cold winter months, skiing is another adventurous option that you can try yourself for. That being said, as brilliant as all of this sounds, it's nothing that you wouldn't be able to do in other more popular countries. The true magic of Bosnia and Herzegovina can be found in those little moments of peace that you find spread throughout the islands. There's something special about spending the night in a village populated by only 5 people and waking up to a serenade from the self-proclaimed mayor while you enjoy some chilled lemonade or Arabic coffee. It's more than a vacation, so take a trip as soon as you can. Number 3. Vipava Valley, Slovenia. Slovenia is another country that doesn't seem to get the recognition that it deserves, which is obviously great for us as it means that tourists won't be flocking to the countryside to ruin the view. And if visitors do indeed decide to visit the country, they usually check out the capital city of Ljubljana, along with the mystical Lake Bled before returning to their accommodation to relax. But we're here to tell you that Slovenia has some hidden spots that you shouldn't be missing out on when you visit, with Vipava Valley being one of them. Taking the buzzword of sustainability and making it a way of life, Vipava Valley has been able to retain its incredible views by setting itself up as a region sprawling with greenery, rolling hills, and vineyards that you could easily mistake for Tuscany at first glance. To truly enjoy this scenery, be sure to rent some bicycles or take a hike through the hills. Hiking especially makes you feel as if you're journeying through Hobbiton and then the Shire, allowing for some incredible photo opportunities. The region is also incredibly windy most of the time, so hold on to your hats and enjoy some incredible paragliding, which is by far the best way to experience the beauty of the valley. Suffice it to say, there are also a number of hidden wine cellars and farms spread across the region, with most homes also doubling as restaurants where you can enjoy some delicious local food. There's something homely about sitting down in what appears to be a living room and feasting on some of the best food and wine you've ever tasted. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, this region is just a short flight away. Number 4. Cuenca, Spain. Visiting Spain is a dream for most people, and who could blame them with the incredible views that the country presents tourists with, as well as the delectable foods that are available around every corner. But it's the small region of Cuenca that makes the 4th position on our list as the place to be if you have a love for impressive architecture and city-side hiking. Probably the most famous portion of the city is the Casa Colgados, which you'll recognize as the hanging houses that appear to dangle off the threatening rock faces above. But the city is more than a few dangling homes, with the magical beauty represented there making it deserving of its status as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you're a fan of treasure hunting movies and video games, you'll also love the look of Cuenca. Taking a hike up the Karst Mountains will see you coming into contact with a number of colorful homes, the ruins of a castle, and of course, a cathedral with architectural elements that appear to span through various time periods. The history of this city can be traced back around 1300 years after all, which makes it feel like a land that has been lost in time. The crystal blue river that flows down through the mountains also provides an incredible adventure playground, which is perfect if you want to take a break from exploring the city. Either way, you'll definitely enjoy your time spent in Cuenca. Number 5. The Hague, Netherlands. The Netherlands as a country is known by everyone and appears to be a hotspot for most European tourists who appreciate its loose laws and love for marijuana. But other than a view of the red light district and the ability to participate in some otherwise illegal forms of enjoyment, the Netherlands brings with it an enjoyment of a hidden gem that often goes unnoticed by those who visit. Rather than spending your time in Amsterdam, which is usually filled to the brim with tourists, take a trip to the country's second largest city, The Hague. This hidden gem of a city is better known for its politics and social justice stances, but can also be regarded to be impressive by the delicious foods and hopping bar scenes that are spread across the region. If you're a fan of history, you'll find yourself at home at one of the city's many museums. Probably the best, if you had to choose one, is Humanity House, from which you'll be able to get an overview of the city and the amazing things it's done for the extension of international peace and justice. Essentially, The Hague is a lot more laid back than Amsterdam, and while it may not have as many canals or coffee shops than its more popular brother, it does come packed with a rich history and break from screaming children who are sick of traveling. So if you're planning on visiting the Netherlands, be sure to take a break by touring The Hague. Number 6. Durham, England. Last but not least, we have Durham, England, which is perfect for those who are looking for the quintessential British experience without being lost in the swarms of visitors to London Central. Durham City boasts one of the most incredible castles and cathedrals you've ever seen, which have both been listed together as a UNESCO cultural site, ensuring their protection. But other than feasting your eyes on the magnificent sights, you'll also find more than enough nature to keep you busy, with lush greens often growing up walls and bridges, making for the most incredible views you've ever seen. You'll also find the Durham Heritage Coast just outside of the region, which brings with it some beautiful hiking opportunities. Beamish Museum and Raby Castle are another 2 sites that you shouldn't be missing out on, so be sure to rent a car and ask the locals how to get there, as you'll want to experience everything that Durham has to offer. So what do you think of our hidden destinations? Feel free to let us know in the comments section down below.